Family, what's going on? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Good morning and roll tide. You imagine last night at the game, South Carolina student section getting ready to storm the field. They thought wrong, okay? And Alabama comes out on top 29-22. If you were with me for the watch-along, I never thought that Alabama was going to lose the game. I thought at points of the game it was certainly frustrating, but I thought that Alabama would pull it out. And a large part of that is because Simpson, okay? He didn't have his best night. In fact, this is the least accurate that he was all season. 56% right here, right? 24 of 43. This is the most opportunities where he took deep shots, and they weren't there. And I get it. South Carolina was holding a little bit, but he seemed a little bit inaccurate. But other than that, I mean, the thing that really stood out to me was that game-changing drive, right? 14 plays, 79 yards in the second half to give, Alabama an opportunity to come back in that game. I mean, that was kind of like a Heisman-type moment, right? So on the night, 24 of 43, 253, 2 touchdowns. And as Coach Kalen DeBoer said in the postgame, it's like it doesn't always have to be pretty, and games in the SEC are going to be dirty. And it is an absolute grind, okay? You try beating 5 consecutive SEC teams. Alabama is the only team that's been able to do that, okay? I think that says a lot. So Simpson comes through in the clutch. I thought his late game ability continues to shine, and I think this is a great sign for this team. I was thinking about this, and I was like, is this a negative that they played South Carolina 29-22? Actually, I don't. I think it's a positive because you maybe refer to me as Mr. Optimistic, but if you win a game like that, when everything was going against you, that's impressive. And that shows me growth from this team, right? They don't win past games like this, but now that they can win a game like that, I think it tells us a lot. So Simpson, not the best performance, but that 14-play drive late in the game, absolutely impressed. Came up with some big third downs and some really big throws in a game where he just wasn't on. There was a lot of times where he was just off, okay? The running game is very interesting to talk about, and this is probably going to be a strange take, but Alabama actually ran the ball well when they needed to late in the game. Late in the game, you had a nice run by Jan Miller. Late in the game, you had a nice run by Daniel Hill. Collectively, the stats are terrible. 23-72. I don't know. This is my take. I don't think it's a running back issue. I think it's a schematic issue, and I think it's an offensive line issue. That's what I've come down to. Sometimes, I'm not going to sell on Ryan Grubb, and I love Ryan Grubb. I think he does a great job. But, he was criticized for his run game philosophy at Seattle. I don't know if that's coming over here. I think it's maybe Alabama's offensive line and then Grubb. And he runs the ball sometimes on strange downs. Like 2nd and 1, run the ball. They take a shot downfield. I get it, maybe being aggressive in that situation, but just feed it to Daniel Hill right there. Other times you're kind of questioning. And I've said this before. I'm done with the crispy plays. No more crispy. You can't have Caden Proctor hurt. You want to play with him for the next 8 game without him? Don't do it. Teams are starting to go low on him. The creativity is great, but keep Caden Proctor at tackle. Just my take. So Jan Miller, 26 yards. Germie Bernard, 23 yards. The numbers are what they are, okay? If you have an idea why Alabama can't run the ball, let me know inside the comment box. Alabama receiving. Ryan Williams, 7 of 72, big drop. And, in fact, that drop turned into a touchdown. This team drops a lot of passes. Ryan dropped a pass. Germie dropped a pass. Rico dropped a pass. It was like a lot of players are dropping passes, right? I don't know what the health status is on Isaiah Horton. I'll have to check. If it was serious, I'm sure we'd already know what was going on. And I have to say this about Josh Cuevas. This guy – he's one of the better tight ends that Alabama's had in several years. Do you agree with that? Sound off inside the comment box. Daniel Hill catching the ball is terrifying. Imagine being out there and seeing somebody 250 pounds running your way. No, thank you. All right, Lenore Sellers. I want to give this guy props. This guy is a monster. He 240 pounds. You heard what Bray Hubbard had to say after him. He's like, the center of gravity on that guy is incredible. 1832. He's played Alabama close 2 years in a row, and I think Shane Beamer's like, man, I almost had him. I almost had Alabama not once but twice. The play of the game, and really the reason Alabama won this game was because of the defense. The defense came up with some amazing stops, and as you know, I keep my legal pad closed because it's kind of all the top plays of Alabama. Well, I have another top play for you this year. And it was Deontay Lawson stripping the ball, and Tim Keenan, he didn't even know he was on top of it. That was the play of the game, 100%. And you look, and I've been talking about this weekly, all the plays that Alabama continues to come up with on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be an amazing highlight reel, right? Okay, let's rewind. First one is against Georgia. The 4th and 1, LT Overton, Deontay Lawson. All right, next game, you need to stop from the defense. Keon Sabb comes up with the interception. Okay, next game against Missouri. It's a 4th down. You get a special teams defensive play, right, with Dre Washington coming up. Next game, Tennessee. You need a big play. Tennessee's driving. How about a pick 6 for 98 yards? How about this game? South Carolina is trying to, I guess win the game, right? 22-22 at this point. Deontay Lawson, captain on captain crime, because Tim Keenan comes away with the fumble recovery. The defense played great, and I want to highlight one particular player. This man right here, Justin Jefferson. Game ball, 100%. Played fantastic. He had the hardest hit that I've seen in quite some time. He held Deshaun Jones upright on the pick 6. He had 7 total tackles. He had a quarterback sack, okay? Guy played lights out. You know who else played well? And I think you know what I'm talking about. This man right here, Blake Dowd. We never talk about the punter, okay? This guy, 5 punts, 277, average of 55, okay? He had 5 punts that went 50 yards. Are you kidding me? Including a 60-yard punt? Absolutely fantastic. Okay, now I want to look to Alabama's overall schedule. This is a grind. This is a gauntlet. You try winning 5 consecutive games in SEC. Alabama is on an absolute tear, okay? Started back against Louisiana and Monroe when they had no choice but to go up, okay? After that, they have beat Wisconsin, then they beat Georgia, then they beat Vandy, then they beat Missouri, then they beat Tennessee, and on Saturday night, they beat South Carolina 29-22. Up next, they have an open week, which comes at a perfect time before you go to LSU, right? Or LSU comes to Bryant-Denny. Then you got Oklahoma, 2 conference big games that are in Tuscaloosa. Then you have Eastern Illinois, so 3 consecutive home games. The schedule works out perfectly for these guys. It's going to be tough games, but, they are riding a 16-game winning streak at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And then the big scary one at the back end against the Haunted Barn and the Haunted Tigers, all right? So now, look at the SEC. This conference is absolutely wild. I'll go full. No, you guys can probably see this, okay? Alabama, and I'm watching this A&M LSU game. Why I cut it, so I don't know who's going to come out on top. A&M's winning right now, 21-18. Let's just say A&M somehow wins this game. A&M will be 5-0. Alabama will be 5-0 in SEC play. Overall, Alabama is 7-1. They're going to return this punt for a touchdown. Oh my goodness! Texas A&M. As I'm cutting this, they just returned a punt for a touchdown. Yeah, they're probably going to be 5-0 in conference play. How far was that? Man, that was nice. Brian Kelly looks lost. He looks mad. He's going to pound the desk. 79-yard punt return by Casey Concepcion. You remember that name, right? Man, that dude's a menace. That was a hell of a play. Woof. Okay, so Alabama, A&M, kind of a collision course to see if those 2 teams could play in the SEC title game. But on the outside as well, you have a bunch of one-loss teams. You have Ole Miss, right? You have Georgia. You have Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is a one-loss team. And I start to look at kind of the college football playoffs. I think they'll probably get 5 teams in. Alabama, A&M, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Vandy. So watch this Vanderbilt team, because Vanderbilt and Texas play here in a couple weeks. And I get it. Texas, they're going into overtime with Kentucky, with Mississippi State. That's going to be an interesting game. I'll take Vanderbilt, but who knows? I think this spot is open right here. So 5 teams, the SEC probably, you could say, do they deserve 6? Maybe not, because there's Texas, right? So 5 teams for sure, and that's kind of how it's looking right now as of October 25th as I cut this video. So, hey, fam, it was a great win. Alabama is able to survive in Columbia. It wasn't the most perfect game. It's not going to be perfect. The rest of the year is going to be hard. Any given Saturday in college football, I don't think it's about playing down to your competition. I think it's about surviving the SEC brutality, because the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12, they got some teams out there, but not on a consistent basis, right? You're not playing teams like these trap games exist all over the place. Anybody in the SEC could beat you, plain and simple. And Alabama survives on the road. Gritty win. Congratulations to Coach Kalen DeBoer and his crew as they enter a much-needed rest week. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Good morning to you. I hope that you guys have an amazing Sunday. Stay tuned for a live at some point today or news as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy your beautiful Sunday, and I'll catch you as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. Thank you so much. See you guys.